Konnichiwa everybody, welcome back to another episode. And a few weeks ago I put out a biggest regrets type video of my gaming things I got rid of. So this is kind of following on from that really, as you might have guessed from the title. But yeah, we've all got regrets obviously, but I'd got one in particular. An item which I'd sold previously, my console and collection of games in the past, and I'd done it twice, stupidly. So it's always kind of bugged me a bit, if I'm honest, but I don't know, the more I got to think about it, the more I thought, is there any way I could rectify this problem? And because the reason being that I thought the prices had gone so ludicrously expensive now, there was no way I could ever buy this back again, in present day circumstances. So although I wanted it, I couldn't see any way of actually achieving it. And then I just happened to be browsing, as you do, and I saw this console on retrogames.co.uk website. Big up to Jason who runs Retro Games. Awesome website. I'm sure you've all been on there. Got some amazing stuff and very competitively priced, I'd say. So go check him out. Anyway, so yeah, there was a console listed, and I thought, it looked nice, and I thought that, it's out the question. But then I got to thinking about it for a day or two as to how I could go about funding it really. And I was looking around, seeing what I could sort of sell. What didn't I use really that was worth any kind of money, that I could put to better use. And so, after a bit of deliberation, I decided I'd move my Amiga CD32 on to fund the purchase of the mighty Neo Geo AES, as you've probably already guessed. Yeah, I mean, I've looked at them before, like, since I've, really regretted it more and more as the years have gone on. And, the prices just go up and up. And it's not just, it's a lovely boxed example, obviously. It's not just the console, the games are ludicrously expensive. But anyway, I took the plunge, sold the CD32 so I could buy that. But I'd got a plan, as it were, due to the extortionate cost of the games. You've got to be bonkers really to be buying up an AES collection, as you're probably all aware. So yeah, I'd got a plan. Now there aren't that many games available on the AES in comparison to other things. Obviously, there's only 157 games available across the three Neo Geo formats, from what I can work out anyway. Across the AES, the MVS, and the CD machines, there's only 157 games, and of those 157, they're not all available on each system. So I think, from what I've read, it breaks down to 149 were available on the MVS, which is the arcade system. There's 118 that were available on the AES, which is the home console, which is where I bought. And there were 97 available on the Neo Geo CD, which I'd already got. I should have said really, I've had to have a bit of a rejig in the game room. took up a fair bit of my time the past couple of weeks. So yeah, I've had to move around so I can fit the AES up here. Where's my arm? There. Fit the AES up there because I needed the height to put the carts in and out because they're quite large, obviously. And so I decided to put the CD machine next to the AES, so it was, you know, keep the Neo Geo together, I thought. But yeah, so there was only 157 in total. So my plan was going, you know, as soon as I bought the machine, I thought, well, there's no way I can afford the games, even if I buy the machine. So my plan was to buy the Multicart, which now is available for the AES console, or MVS if you want to go that route. So that's what I bought. And basically, it's your EverDrive type device, only it's not like it's not, you don't load them onto an SD card like you do on EverDrive. They're all pre-installed on the card. And like I say, there are 161 games on this cart. Now I sort of read up on it to start with, what was on it, and there seemed quite a good selection. And when you look at the total games available, 157 released, you think 161, well, they're all going to be on there, but unfortunately they're not. I mean, I've got to say, it's a cracking cartridge. The build quality is really nice. It feels just like an original cartridge, really. I mean, it's even got the SNK logo on the back, which is a bit naughty, but, you know, whatever. It feels like a really nice cartridge, and it's got a lovely finish, just like a genuine cartridge. It's just a bit tighter in the slot than the genuine ones. It's not overly tight, but it's certainly tighter than the genuine ones. But yeah, like I say, 161 games on there in total. So that was why I decided to go for the buying the AES in the first place. I thought, well, I can buy that one cart, then I've got an awesome selection of games just for the costs of that one cartridge. I'll stick a bit of footage in here now of just a quick run through of what's on that cart, so you've got an idea, just in case you're thinking about it yourself maybe. But I'll put it in now. So here we are. This is what we've got on the Multicart. As you can see, we've got all the King of Fighters games. So it's perhaps a bit excessive there, because we've still got them on. The first 24 games are all King of Fighters, and the first 36, and indeed down to 43. And we've got Rage of Dragons, Strikers 1945, Aero Fighters 2 and 3, all the Metal Slugs, Super Sidekicks 2 and 3, and some other football games, and then all the Samurai Shoudowns, Matsu Melee, another fighter, Sengoku 1 and 3, that's a brawler, Last Blade and Last Soldier is also a variant of the Last Blade. Excellent games. Last Blade 2, Mark of the Wolves is a later Fatal Fury game, Double Dragon 1-on-1 fighter, Nightmare in the Dark, that's an amazing sort of horror themed Bubble Bobble platform arcadey game. Great game. I remember Nick at Red 7 picking that up recently. Spin Master, another good platformer. Art of Fighting, Karnoff's Revenge, Shock Troopers, an amazing Commando Merc style game. Puzzle Bobble, sorry, Panic Bomber, Street 2, that's a great basketball NBA Jam style game. Bomberman, Zoo Papa, that's another cracking arcade sort of single screen platform game, Bubble Bobble style. Blazing Star, Ninja Commando, Overtop, Pull Star, great shooter, Pull Star, great racer, Overtop. Exceedingly expensive to buy that genuine. Top Hunter, great platform game. Ganryu, the original version to the one that's just been released on modern platforms. 8-Man, Mutation Nation, both scrolling brawlers, good. Baseball Stars 2, Alpha Mission, vertical shooter, really good. Prehistoric Isle, fantastic shooter. Thrash Rally, great overhead racer. Andro Dunos again, much like Ganryu, the original version of the modern sequel that's out on modern platforms. Z-Blade, that's a shooter, I think. I should pretty sure that's a shooter. Bang Beat, I can't remember what Bang Beat is. I have tried that. Neo Drift Out, that's another great top-down racer. Again, exceedingly expensive to buy genuine. Neo Turf Masters, brilliant golf game. 3 count bout wrestling, burning fight, scrolling brawler. Last Resort, another great horizontal shooter like R-Type. Robo Army, scrolling brawler. Then we've got some puzzle games, Puzzle Upon Magical Drop. Fatal Fury 1, Master of Shiogi is a board game, I believe. Viewpoint, that's an amazing looking isometric 3D shoot 'em up. The dearest game I ever bought for my original AES back in the day. I think it was the most expensive game you could buy at the time, about 225 quid. It's about 800 now, I think. World Heroes 2, Soccer Brawl, fantastic futuristic football game. Breakers, fighter. Battle Flip Shop, that's like an evolution of Windjammers really. 2020 Baseball, World Heroes, King of the Monsters, Football Friends, that's a great American football game. Blues Journey, great platformer. Cross Sword, Stakes Winner, and another King of Fighters. Super Dodgeball is actually quite a decent sports title. Magical Drop, Savage Rain, Kizuna Encounter, and then we've got a few more King of Fighters, and we're back to the start. That's the 161 in one cart. So there we go. As you can see, it's got a great selection. It is just a bit heavy for me personally. I think there's too many King of Fighters games on it. Which, as you've seen, there's like whatever 30 to 40 King of Fighters games, so that knocks it down to like 120 games on it really. And then you've got all the Samurai Showdowns and all the Metal Slugs, which, you know, that's fine. I haven't got a problem with that. They're all awesome. I just think it's a bit heavy on King of Fighters. But nevertheless, there's an amazing selection on it, and it's got some great games, which would cost you, you know, thousands and thousands if you wanted to buy them genuine. I would say, with the exception of a few, you know, it's an amazing cartridge. But that said, it's still brilliant. They all work fantastic. The only negative I can say against it is they're supposed to be. You're supposed to press a certain button combination to reset the game to the like the menu screen which you saw there, and that doesn't work. And I've looked online, and a lot of people seem to say it doesn't work. So there's obviously some issue there. So the only way you can reset it is by switching the console off and back on again, which is a bit of a shame because you're putting wear on your on-off switch. Aside from that, I can't fault it. It's brilliant, and for the money, it's an amazing bargain. I've got to say, it's one of the best things I've ever bought. There are emissions on it, like I said. Obviously, it's going to vary on your tastes, but from my point of view, the games I wish were on it that aren't are Psychic Soccer 1, because it's got 2 and 3, but I prefer number 1 of the 3 myself, but that's only a slight niggle. It's missing Sengoku 2, it's got 1 and 3, so it would have been nice to have that. A big one for me is missing Baseball Stars. Probably my favourite game on the system. The first game or the second game I bought for it back in the day. It's got Baseball Stars 2 in 2020, which a lot of people prefer, but I prefer the charm of the first one. It's missing Magician Lord, which I think is a bit of a shame. That's a great game, and there ain't really anything else like it on this card, so that is a real big miss for me. It's missing Art of Fighting 1, it's got 2, it's missing 3 as well, I think. It's missing Shock Troopers 1, again it's got the sequel. Another big miss for me, it's missing Windjammers, which is an amazing game. Real shame that's not on there. That's disappointing. Missing a few of the Fatal Fury games. missing 2 special and 3. But it's got others, so you're not totally robbed of Fatal Fury. It's missing World Heroes Jet and Perfect, which are far superior to the World Heroes 2 that's on it. It's missing King of the Monsters 2, again, which I think is better than the first one, which is on that Multicart. Another big miss for me is missing League Bowling, which again is an amazing game and one I've got a lot of nostalgia for. Again, back to Fatal Fury, it's missing Real Bout 1, 2 and Special. So you're a bit robbed if you're a Fatal Fury fan, which I am. And the last big one it's missing for me is Cyberlip, which is sort of a side-scrolling run and gun, kind of an early Metal Slug. So although it's missing quite a few, I'd say the only real massive shames that it's missing for me personally are Baseball Stars, Magician Lord, Windjammers, League Bowling and Cyberlip. So arguably there are 5 games I would have loved to have been on it that aren't. So going forwards from here, obviously if you've ever looked into Neo Geo consoles, you'll know the games are stupidly expensive. There's pretty much nothing available less than 100 quid. I mean, you can get games for less than 100 quid, don't get me wrong. There are a selection of a few which go fairly cheap. Art of Fighting 2's relatively cheap, for instance. There's probably, half a dozen that you'll buy fairly easily for less than 100 quid. Complete. Cart only ones, you might pick up those less than 100 quid as well for the cheaper titles. But for the majority, anything desirable, there's very little for under 100 quid, and most of them are vastly more, multiple hundreds. So going forwards, like I say, I'm chuffed with that Multicart. If at some point I can buy the ones that aren't on it, they're the ones I'll be trying to buy. Those 5 I've mentioned. And if I come across any bargains of stuff that's actually on it, if I can buy it genuine with the box, I would still do that, obviously. But my focus is to try and find the 5 that I'd ideally like on there. In some, I don't mind if it's cart only, to be honest. These are so ridiculously expensive. I'm fine with cart only and stick them in a box protector. You can pay ludicrous amounts. Like I mentioned, I think Viewpoints I've seen for around 800 quid, and some sell for over 1,000 quid. And many thousands, some of them. The real rare ones like Samurai Showdown 5, and it's just bloody ridiculous. So that Multicart is an absolute godsend. However, after I bought that, I have also bought a couple of other actual cartridges. These particularly are ones I'd got nostalgia for, what I had back in the day when I had my previous collections. So that's why I wanted to buy these. And also coupled with the fact I found them at reasonably great prices, which is why I picked them up. So the first one, there's no surprises here, it's been on show throughout the whole video. Samurai Showdown 2. I mean, the boxes are wicked, don't get me wrong. Unfortunately they are quite fragile. The plastic inner liners, crack and corrode badly, especially now they're like 30 years old. This is a Japanese one, obviously. It's got a bit of damage on the top edge of the artwork, but nothing disastrous. I mean, I've always thought that was wicked artwork. Homeru used to have a massive poster of that Homeru pose. This one's actually still got the Neo Geo sticker on the side, the seal. This one comes with a CD style manual, but as you can see, unfortunately the plastic does break off with the weight of the cartridge. So you know they're not brilliant in terms of longevity, but it's an awesome game. And then the next one I bought was Fatal Fury Special. Again, it's Japanese. That's another point with the Neo Geo. There's a vast price difference between Japanese carts and like English stroke USA style carts. Just you know, because the language is in, obviously it's in Japanese on Japanese carts, but the English ones tend to be vastly more expensive. Even for like titles that are the cheapest on Japanese, they're still really expensive if they're English. So yeah, Fatal Fury Special. It actually isn't on that multi-card, so this was a no-brainer. I love Fatal Fury. Fatal Fury 1 and Baseball Stars were the first two games I bought for my original AES. This one actually is in nice condition. Aside from the plastic again is split. It's, I mean, almost impossible to find them. There haven't, to be honest. That's a full-size manual in that one because it's an earlier game. But yeah, that's Fatal Fury Special. And actually, I bought both of those off Retro Games as well, and they were both really good prices. So thanks, Jason. Top man. Check him out. What an awesome website. Right, now the last one I've bought. Again, I've a lot of nostalgia for this. And I didn't have this the first time I had my AES because it wasn't out. I first had this when I first got my Neo Geo CD back in the day, and it was amazing. There was nothing like it at the time. And then when I bought my second AES, I did buy the cartridge version then. So I was chuffed to get this one. It is on the multi-card, but I've got that much nostalgia for this. It was a good price and it's in amazing condition. I don't think it's ever been played, to be honest. I had to buy it. That's King of Fighters 94. Now obviously this is the first King of Fighters game, and a lot of people, or most people, would probably say there are better ones than the first one. But I've just got that much nostalgia for this one. This one will always be my favourite, even though they obviously improved things as time went on. It's the Japanese version again, like I say, but it's in beautiful condition. So it's missing the Neo Geo seal on the side, but actually the tray in this one is not damaged, which is amazing, and it's still got the manual in the baggie. So it's brilliant. There's the cartridge. I don't think I showed you a cartridge, so close up. Oh, I did. I showed you the multi-card, didn't I? So yeah, it's you've got two boards in them, obviously, if you didn't know. But yeah, you can. I ain't got anything else to show you in size comparison. Oh yeah. There you go. In comparison to the size of a CD, you can tell how big the cartridges are. So yeah, there we go. That was my final purchase so far for the mighty AES. So yeah, some people might think I'm crazy, but I've got to say, no regrets. It was definitely the right thing to do for me. I didn't really use my CD32. Couldn't tell you the last time I put it on. So I've used the AES far more in the few weeks that I've had it than I have in the past few years for the CD32. So it was definitely the right thing for me to do. And there's one thing for sure, I am not selling it this time. I'm keeping it for good. It's not being sold for the third time. Hopefully I will have put up some different game footage off that multicart throughout the video, so you can get a bit of a look at what different games are on there. Not all of them obviously, but it'll give you a rough idea. And hopefully at some point in the future I can hopefully find those carts of those games that I'd like that aren't on that multicart. I might do a more in-depth video in the future on that multicart in particular. If anybody wants to see that, just let me know. But thanks for watching anyway. If any thoughts on the Neo Geo, please whack them down in the comments. It'd be great to hear from you. But I'll see you all soon, hopefully. Sayonara.